So I sharpen freehand, and I always have. So these fixed angle systems were never really my thing. I really enjoy sharpening by hand. This Sharpal 202H is the first one I've actually used. It's cheap and it comes with pretty much everything you need. I sharpened 5 knives on it and checked every stage with the microscope. I also found rust where there shouldn't be any, and at one point I managed to cut my own hand. So before we dive into the test, let's quickly look at what's included. The 202H shows up as a near complete package. There are 6 stones in the box. There is a 220, 325, 600 and a 1000 diamond stone. And then there are 2 whetstones, a 3000 and a 6000. Those are splash and go stones. And then there is a leather strop. 2 more stones are sold separately. There is an 80 grit diamond plate for heavy pre-profiling and a 3000 grit ceramic. The 220 can reprofile too, of course, but the 80 is simply faster. And the ceramic is interesting to me because I usually prefer that kind of finishing stone over the included splash and go stones. So I'll probably pick those up as well. Also in the box there is tape to protect the knife, also a marker to ink the edge, and a squeeze bottle for the whetstones. And then there is some green compound for the leather strop. Basically there is everything you need on day one and there is nothing you have to go buy first. It's cheap too. I paid 163 euros and replacement stone run roughly 20 to 30 euros for a pair. Exact prices are on the screen. So all in all, a very affordable kit. Let's take a look at the hardware. So first, these clamps. This is the most important thing. They are very solid. There is no flex and there is nothing to complain about. They are tightened by this Allen key that is provided with the kit. The stones mount on with thumb screws. These thumb screws, as you can see, they lock down very tight and they don't work loose while you are sharpening. So you can set the angle at the back here. Of course, for exact angles, you really want a digital angle gauge. I didn't have one during this test, so I treated the numbers as approximate and focused more on consistency and what happened at the edge. And then this base, of course, it's quite heavy, so it stays put even when you put some pressure on it. Of course, don't overdo it. Now, let's take a look at the stones and compare them to Sharpal's bench stones. I have taken a good look at the stones and there are some surprises ahead. This one is the 220 grit stone. Now, I didn't take a lot of measurements here, basically because the magnification was too high to fit more onto the screen. It comes down to roughly 70 micron, which is exactly the size you'd expect from a 220 grit. It is also perfectly in line with Sharpal's bench stone. There is one outlier, 114 micron. This is the 600 grit stone. It's nice and even. So to do the measurements, I changed the lighting so I'd have better contrast. The 600 is dead on. The mean is 24.90 and the median is 24.75 and the theoretical specification is 25. You cannot get any closer than this. Outliers do exist, but they are within limits. So very good result and also completely in line with the bench stone. This is the 1000. So for this one I made a mistake. The magnification was set to 275 and the calibration is set at 3. So these numbers need to be corrected by roughly 9.1%. When we do that, we arrive at a mean of 15.57 and a median at 15.58. The target is 15 micron. So yes, this is pretty much dead on as well. Also a very good result. Then I realized I had forgotten this 325 grit, mainly because I didn't use it in the progression. To me, there is actually this 325 has no place between the 220 and the 600. So these pictures are of a brand new unused 325 plate. This is on the 20x objective and you can see how shiny it is compared to a used plate. Nothing has broken off yet and there is no contamination whatsoever. However, this magnification is too high, so I'm switching to the 10x, and here you can see the measurements. So to my astonishment, this plate runs high. The mean is 66.48 and the median is 67.45. That's almost at 220 grit. So to verify, I took a second set of pictures from a different location on the stone. You can see them here. So unfortunately, same result. So the mean is 65.38 and the median 62.16. So the target for this plate is 45 micron. So this is way off. I seem to remember this was the case on the bench stones as well. So on this grid size, Sharpal has a real problem. And apparently it is across the board, across stones and across types of stones. So for mostly these results are completely in line with the previous results from the bench stones. Again, I only took a few measurements of these stones. I could have been much more thorough, but still, if anything, it's evidence that Sharpal takes these grid sizes seriously, not the other way around. Except, of course, on the 325, they really need to address this problem. There is one real difference, though, between the bench stones and these stones. The bench stones are stainless. That is not claimed for these 202H plates. And after using water on them, I've already got some rust coming up. You can see it here. It's not the backing, however. It's in the electroplating that holds the diamonds. So nickel shouldn't rust, so it's something else in there. I couldn't find out what. And it's on all the 202H plates. So clearly Sharpal uses the same diamonds across these plates, but the electroplating process and the materials used seem to be different. So the quality does not seem to be exactly the same as the bench stones. Sharpal says use these dry, but I always run water on diamond plates, mostly so I'm not breathing in the steel dust. So that's how I noticed. So it's just something to be aware of. I didn't put the whetstones under the microscope because usually this is too small to actually see. This 3000, however, was flaking off during sharpening, even though I had applied enough water, and it just kept on doing that. This 6000 didn't have this issue. So I'm thinking this 3000 perhaps wasn't entirely flat. I probably should have lapped it before use. I haven't done that yet, but I think that's the cause of the problem. Finally, before looking at the effects on the edges, a quick word on the strop. It's a real quality strop. It's pretty hard, so that will limit rounding over while stropping, and it's on the smooth side of the leather. It comes with this green compound here, but I haven't used that. So I've loaded this strop with 6 micron DMT, diamond compound. And as you can see here on the screen, it is very, very heavily loaded. So now let's move on to what really matters, sharpening the knives. 5 knives went onto the system. A Spyderco Delica 4, Spy 27, the GiantMouse GMF in Magna Cut, a Big ID Lookout in Nitro-V, a Spyderco Dragonfly in VG10, and a Demko Shark Cub in RS10A. So the Delica first, I set it to 20 degrees. Of course, I cannot measure the exact angle, that doesn't really matter. And then I sharpen and sharpen and sharpen, and no burr comes up. So I put this knife under the microscope. So 2 things jump out immediately. The scratch pattern is very coarse and widely erratic, and the very apex still carries the original scratch pattern. That means that the old edge sat higher than the one I'm cutting now, which is exactly why there is no burr. I simply hadn't reprofiled far enough yet. If I had used the marker, this would have been very, very clear, but I didn't. So this is going slower than I expected. So yes, finally I have a burr. You can see it here. It's folded over to the other side and it's a bit messy. There's even a hair on it. So here you can have a closer look. As you can see, it's a decent size burr. So I did not include a scale or any measurements in these pictures, unfortunately. So okay, this looks great. Now let's get rid of it. Here is how the edge looks after doing a decent set of burr minimization passes. So it's definitely completely cleaned up, but there are still some nicks here and there. And then in this picture you can see that those nicks have been smoothed out. Do notice the very coarse and typical 220 grit Sharpal scratch pattern. Anyway, we are ready to advance to the next stone. So this is a 600 grit stone. You can see a much refined scratch pattern with a very nice and even edge. With these systems, apparently the scratch pattern is usually not the nice parallel pattern you get when hand sharpening. So you can see the 1000 this time. I took care to stay perpendicular to the edge, and you can see that results in a beautiful and even scratch pattern. The apex is very much refined as well. So now we move on to the 3000 edge. You can see it here. And this is what you get with splash and go stones. So the scratch pattern goes in all directions. You can also see that the edge looks like it's rounded over slightly. And that's indeed the case. I removed the knife from the clamps and put it under the microscope, and I did not mark the exact location. So when I put it back into the clamps, it was in a slightly different location, and that changed the angle. And you can see that even more in this 6000 edge shot. You can see a clear micro bevel. But do notice how fine the apex is. This knife is now very, very sharp, and it absolutely cuts like crazy. So yeah, excellent. So this is a 1000 grit edge on the GiantMouse GMF-1. It's not the cleanest scratch pattern, but it is very sharp. On this one, I did not manage to sharpen properly at the base, as you can see in those pictures. It is, however, very, very sharp. So push cutting all the way. So this is the lookout with a 1000 grit edge. So this lookout had a burnt edge. I distressed it before sharpening, and now it's finally through that bad steel. This is a very fine edge now. Here you can see it on the 20x objective. As you can see, I made no effort to create a beautiful scratch pattern. This one has a sharpening choil, so it's sharpened very easily, and as you can see, it's razor sharp. So getting the base properly sharpened is definitely something I find a lot easier with hand sharpening, but perhaps that's just a matter of practicing. So this is the Dragonfly in VG10. This is the one that cut me. It was clamped in, and I moved my finger quite enthusiastically right into this razor sharp 3000 grit edge. It sliced the meat of my knuckle clean off. So this is that actual 3000 grit edge, and as you can see, the apex is very much refined. On this Dragonfly, however, I accidentally created a dip in the middle of the edge, as you can see. I think by trying to sharpen the base, I put too much pressure in the middle. And this also happened to a lesser extent on the GiantMouse. This is definitely something to be careful about, and this never happened to me when freehanding. I don't think we have to do a cut test on this VG10. And then finally, my treasured Shark Cub in Aus10A. It's a beautiful edge. As you can see, however, I was lazy and I did not entirely override the scratch pattern. This one is also razor sharp. So I did not test the strop. I have shown the effect of that DMP compound in many videos before. On the whole, this was a great system to actually use. I did have one accident, but that was entirely my fault. Other than that, it's a system I would definitely recommend. I did lap the 3000 grit stone eventually, and that made the problem disappear. The rust, however, is something I would like an explanation for. And even more importantly, we discovered that the Sharpal very likely has a structural problem with the 325 stones. They really need to sort this out. Like I promised, the videos I mentioned are on the end screen. Go take a look and please subscribe. See you guys later.